Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and today I was left unsupervised. Actually, Jenna's in the other room. She kind of pulled in a little late, but um, she'll be with us on Monday's program. And want to, thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. I see a lot of people that have tuned in early, and I got to turn this off. Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry about that. I had YouTube running in the background on another tab so I could set up some moderators for the live streams. We haven't had moderators on this channel, and we've had a lot of those pervert posts where they, for some reason they think that you guys are going to tune into a reseller channel and say, "Oh, look, porn," and then like click away for some reason. I guess I don't understand the logic behind it. But we're going to take care of that so we don't have to put up with that kind of nonsense, or just really any kind of, anyone that's nasty, or, maybe calling someone out, that kind of thing. And I don't mind if someone calls me out, but do it in a respectful way. So for those of you who are watching us today that are here with us live, please, like always, contribute in the chat. That always helps the program. If you're not with us today and you're watching this after the fact, again, we do this Mondays and most Fridays. Like next Friday, we're not going to do it. And I'll tell you about it in a minute. But Mondays and Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern. And, if you're available to tune in at that time, maybe you're just finding the channel for the first time, that's when we do it. And of course, we'd like to always see new faces, be a part of the program. And I just love the amount of participation even before we get started. It's, I get here and get ready for the show, and I'm looking at the comments and it's like, wow, this is awesome. So thank you guys. But do me a favor, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. That's all I ask. And I was out there listing outside and in the garage, and that's time that I take away from that process. And I'm not at all saying it's a bad thing. I love doing this. I just want to let you guys know that all I ask for is that hit that like button for the time that we put into doing this. So let's see who we have here. We got Tyler's Trading Post in the house. We have Shinville General, 97 Deep Valley Road, Sean Krisky, Prosser Independent Trading Companies in the house. Let's see. I know my wife Jenna's in the house. She's in the chat. I know we have Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida. And Ed, the reselling writer, is also in the house. GT and Archie Biscuit Butts in the house and all that. So thank you guys for hanging out with us today. And I'm going to do something real quick here if I can find it. Okay, I've made some 4 people moderators, so you'll see a little wrench by your name, and that means that you're kind of able to boot people that do things they shouldn't do. So finally, we got it in place. So we got about 23 people watching, and I'm sure as we get ramped up, we'll get more people. But today, just wanted to kind of touch on what you guys thought about Q4. And last week we are talking about, okay, Q4, is it finally here? And my observation was, we had a lot of the lower ticket items like the Barbie dolls and things like that just start selling. In fact, I'm sold out of all the Barbie dolls on eBay. Have no more of those. I have a lot of accessories, and I have like some other toys, like some Super Mario toys, some like some kids like learning playset toys, some Nerf little ammunition for the Nerf guns, the little darts, the soft darts, things like that. Even those are kind of starting to sell. And I'm just kind of wondering if that's the kickoff. So like last week. So looking at it this week for me, we had an excellent Sunday, as you guys know. Don't need to really say a whole lot more about last weekend. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday was better. Not so great. Not so great. And then we lead into today. I'm at about $550, but I can tell you 300 of that is because on my auction, the Christian Louis Vuittons that I put up and I showed you guys on the last live stream. Well, we ended up getting a buy it now for $2.99 on that. So, of course, I get the message saying the buyer paid and get it ready to send into the authentication process. So that kind of freaks me out inside a little bit because I've never done that. Of all the shoes and things that I've ever sold, I've never had to send anything into authentication. So I think what I'll end up doing is, as part of that process, I think I might just make a video about, doing that and seeing how that turns out. So we shall see on that. But, for me, as far as, the sales, it just seems to be hit and miss. Amazon, I've sent a lot of things on Amazon, started to cross post some things onto Amazon, trying to get more things in front of more people, like on Mercari. We've got a lot of stuff now, more than we've had in a long time on Poshmark, and getting the number of items, it may translate into only a few sales per site per week, but that few sales per site per week are sales that we may not have had otherwise on eBay. So it's really, in my eyes, increasing, the amount of items that we sell. Now, maybe not. As far as like in previous years, we never had to really do any of that. eBay was sufficient. We were able to get stuff on eBay and it was going to sell. But, I'm not doing the last few months, last 4 or 5 months, haven't done a whole lot of liquidation either. Been a lot of stuff like yard sales and junk, like I talked about on the video yesterday. And so I hope I didn't offend anyone, by the way, on that. It's just the way it is, kind of the way I was thinking about it. Just think about it. Most things that people sell, nobody wanted, and they either donated it to Goodwill or put it out in their yard for a yard sale or sent it back as a customer return. So it was just something I was thinking about, and I decided to make the video. If you haven't watched it, check it out after we're done here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. I just don't know. It's a lot of uncertainty. I'm really kind of cranking out as many listings as I can do. And today, I mean, I'm staring at. I haven't refreshed it since I've been inside, but I have 10 sales today, and I think that's pretty good, right? My last 30 days has been up about 90%. Just shows you how bad of a month I was having the previous 30 days. So how are you guys doing? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Also, was a little blurb on e-commerce bites about the bug. I guess the bug that's setting your views to 0 or something like that. Whenever you're looking at your views, you can click on it and it should show you a graph. And apparently the graph was still showing activity, but the number was showing 0. I don't know. I was looking at it. Mine doesn't have that problem. I mean, of course, we have some items that have 0 views, but when you click on the graph, you get no activity. That's because that item sucks. Okay. Nobody cares about that item. And it's usually a good idea after, I'd say, 30 days, you should be always checking on your items before it automatically recycles into a new listing anyway. Check to see what's going on with that listing. Is it a listing that's getting no views? There might be a number of reasons why it's getting no views. It might be getting thrown to the very bottom of search or stuff down on page 7, 8, when you want to be on page 1, ideally, if not 2. And you got to figure out, look at your listing. And it's time to be honest. I think a lot of us would do better for our store's sell-through rate if we just started looking at the fact that, well, this listing's about to renew and it has 0 views. And that means nobody's seeing it. And why would you want to continue to try to list an item like that? For me, it might be better to just blow it out in an auction, lower the price if you have it too high. Look at the item. If it's an in-demand item, you're going to get people looking at it, whether or not they buy it or not. But if it's not even an item that people are interested in, then it may not be worth listing. And I think that goes into the junk conversation, or the stuff you're selling is crap, and you got to get away from doing that. So I digress a little bit, but let's see what we have. Not a whole lot on the monologue today, but wanted to just give you my observations. And that's the toughest thing about being a YouTuber, really. It's really trying to give you guys content as often as possible. And even on these live streams, some discussion material. But really, if I don't have anything going on and there's not a whole lot of people with new stuff to talk about in the chats where I get a lot of my information, then for me, it's what do you say? What do you talk about? So that's the toughest part about being a YouTuber. And I'm just looking for new ways to kind of keep it interesting. So you're not just seeing the same guy talking about the same thing over and over again, like some channels kind of tend to do. So let's see who we have here, or what kind of questions we have, or any comments today. Let's see. Got to get caught up, and that's the part of the problem too. I'm always kind of behind you guys, but we have Tommy in the house. Welcome, Tommy. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Purple Cactus Sales, Sylvia Hunt. Let's see. Biscuit Butt. I'm not sure if he's listing right now or what he's doing, but he's hanging out with us today. So let's see. Hopefully we have Charles Levesque, I think that's how you pronounce his name. $6.40 gallon heating oil will hurt high ticket sales this season. I really think the cost of energy, and this is not an economics channel, but I mean it's really good to for most resellers to be in tune with the economy, since you're reselling and you're really relying on people's ability to buy your item, and things like this can affect the masses from being able to buy something, especially if you have something that's really not necessary. And that could be like certain collectibles. That's, just other things like that, where in the past you've had no problem moving those items. And now people are really tightening the purse strings a little bit. So just something to consider. We talk about it all the time. Biff Boffo's in the house, says last year Q4 was December to January. Don the auction professor says Q4 starts later every year. Well, I don't quite. Well, he sells collectibles, so I mean, I don't quite agree with that statement in the sense that for me, I saw Q4 like middle of October on, and for me, it sort of ended like at the beginning of the year, maybe the first week of the year, and then it was just dead. It was just dead. So again, he's selling a different type of item, and I think a lot of us sell different stuff. So like I'll tell you, certain items have certain trends. So I'm sure Tommy will tell you, and I've done some research on this, that if you're selling shoes, it's usually spring and fall. That's the peak. Now, it's not saying that the shoes won't sell throughout the year, but you tend to get more people who buy like shoes. Okay, we're getting into the summer. I want to buy some shoes for, doing whatever we're going to do in the summer. And here's the winter, going to buy shoes to go back to school, or, to get some boots, whatever the weather's changing. And I think a lot of other categories have that type of change in the year. So when Don's selling postcards, I'm selling everything. He might see a different trend than me. Let's see. We have No One Design in the house. Thanks for hanging out with us. Dave Allen says listing and listening. So awesome. Glad you're able to get some work done. Ed says my Q4 sales have been dismal. Unfortunately, I've been listing more and getting some sales now, but going to be putting up Christmas nativity sets and my faux fur lined shoes up. So I've been doing a lot of the boots and stuff as well, and we still have a ways to go on that. You see, I don't have any boxes in front of this door, and Jenna has tasked me earlier in the week to take the bins, or the I guess the boxes of Christmas decorations down, and now I have room for my merchandise. And so I, pulled the 20 boxes. Actually, I think I had like 10, 15 boxes in here, and put them in the garage, and was able to move stuff around. So I haven't really sold a lot of them. I think all in all, I may have sold a dozen pair of the 324 shoes that are the same size, kid size too. So again, I'm blowing them out low, cheap. But we're talking like $7.99 plus shipping, and I guess there's not enough, people that are interested. But again, those are the kinds of items that we really want to get away from. And I don't want to say yet it's a bad buy, but knowing what I do now, I probably would have gravitated away from that purchase. Um, yeah, oh, look, the boxes are gone. No, they're not gone for that reason. I wish they were. Ping G says, I started promoting listings at 3% back in September, and my sales are increasing. I only sell wants and not needs, so I'm happy. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you can, maybe change, maybe you're dealing with multiple sources, right? And you can go, okay, this one's selling the wants, so you know what? I'm going to stop buying that for now. And maybe this person over here sells a lot of the health and beauty and the want kind of item or the need kind of items that people are still buying. And that's kind of the right mindset for now. Don't get caught up in big purchases of things that are going to be kind of hard to move. Like those little knickknacks that I picked up. I still have maybe about 10 of them that I picked up about 3 weeks ago. Maybe it was more longer than that, maybe a month ago at yard sale. And while at the time I thought it was a great deal, I picked them up for they're like $1 a piece. I just, I think I've sold one out of the three that I've listed. And for me, it's like, do I want to spend my time listing things that are probably not going to really move? Or do I want to get my stuff listed that I have that still has some value regardless of the time of the year or the economy? That makes sense. And that's kind of my strategy right now. When I go yard selling tomorrow, it's going to be the same kind of thing. I'm not going to really look for a lot of collectibles unless I can get a really heck of a deal on something that I know is valuable, like the thing that I picked up last weekend. I'm really just going to be looking for solid items that I have. And you look at the comps. We talked about that in the video yesterday. Look at the comps and see the date. I think that's important because something that may have sold, it shows you the last 90 days of anything that's sold under what you're searching for. And if we're looking at something that sold back in, September 11th, compared to what sold like the November 1st, you might see that maybe you got more money for it back in September. Maybe you see that you're able to it had more traction, more sales back in September for that particular item than you have recently. And that'll kind of tell you a story. Because the last thing you really want to do is start picking up items that aren't going to really sell quickly. You want to think in your mind, is this thing going to sell right away, or am I going to be sitting on it for a while? So these all have to be kind of in your mind when you're making the purchase. Prosser says, my sales have been up and doing well 3rd week in a row now. So awesome. And this is the right time. We got it. This is it. We're in Q4 right now, guys. If you're not making sales, I think by now, wow. I mean, I guess you could say maybe Black Friday, right? Where, I mean, for me, that's kind of the peak. If you're not getting sales by, in the next 2 weeks, I don't know what to tell you, because the improvement's not going to come. And see, that's why we're talking about, will Q4 be a make it or break it deal, make it or break it year or a quarter for a lot of sellers? Because if you're not getting sales now in Q4, what makes you think you're going to get sales in the first quarter? Unless you're selling snow boots or ski equipment. What makes you think that things are going to get better than they are now if they're not very good at all? And I'm not trying to discourage anyone from reselling. I'm not. Reselling can be a very good way to survive, or supplement an income. But if all we're doing is the same thing over and over again and not doing anything different, right? Your habits are the same, the way you list is the same, the way you source is the same, and you're like, what do I do? Well, and you haven't picked up on the stuff we've talked about so far, maybe this isn't for you. And I just don't want you to waste your time if you're not willing to put in the work. And the work is much more than just listing. The work is much more than just shipping stuff out. The work is learning new processes and learning new ways to source, finding ways to say, you know what, this is the way I do it, but it sucks. I need to maybe try this differently. Maybe I only list on the computer. Maybe I'm so old fashioned that I'm afraid to put it on my phone, and maybe try listing with my phone so I don't have to run inside and list after I've taken pictures and slow my process down. That's a process I've sort of introduced earlier in the year. And I got to tell you, that's how I list. I list on the phone. It's so much faster. and you get so much more work done. More listings. Now, this isn't a show that's going to tell you you're a bad seller if you're not getting listings up. You know that. But more listings equals more value. The more value you put into your store, the more value you're going to get out of the store. And again, if we talk about if you're just putting $100 in value in your store, you can't expect $500 sales days. They might happen, but you're going to run out of merchandise to sell. Yeah, still have a lot of the shoes. I replaced my boxes with plastic bins. These are the same shoes I've had out here. I'm still working on the big bins of shoes that I have in the garage. And a lot of these are all tennis shoes. And I figure, you know what? I can sell the tennis shoes. I can list the tennis shoes, I guess, but they may not get as much traction as, say, the boots and the winter stuff. So that's kind of my mindset on that. Picky Ricky says November going well after bad first 2 days. And Tommy says should be the strongest Q4 ever, in my opinion. And I want to know why you feel that way. I want to know why you feel that way. I have, I've been adding shoes. I think I might have listed now 50, 60 pairs, and they're okay. I'm getting maybe a pair sold, every other day, or maybe now. I think I sold some Timberlands yesterday too. But I'd like to know why you feel that way. Why do you feel like this should be the strongest Q4 ever? That is a closet. It is a closet. This is a spare room that I'm using as my little office here / live studio. That's why you get a lot of echo, because I don't have really a lot of soundproofing stuff in here either. Tyler's trading post says, I ain't made any sales just yet, but I'll keep listing and keep on waiting. They will come soon. LMAO. Yeah, just make sure you're priced right, because again, you could do everything right, and if your prices are just way too high, you're going to scare people away from buying your item. You're not even going to get the offers because people aren't even going to bother clicking on your listing. Picky Ricky says, for me, it was 6 sales today at just over 100 pounds. Okay. It was GFR. Okay. I always get that name. Try Bonanza. It's small, but every extra platform helps, and it's automatically cross-listed from your eBay. Once something sells, it automatically unlists, and there is no extra work. People keep telling me that, and it's like, I don't know. I still have a lot of stuff that I want to get cross-posted over to Amazon. You'll be surprised the number of items that you have in your store that may just be listable on Amazon. Even used stuff can be listable on Amazon. And I'm talking about, listing it and then shipping it yourself once the item sells. My buddy Mike, hey Mike from New York, is in the house. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Hopefully you got your package by now from the other account. No One Design says Q4 was starting out really good, and I agree with Tommy because at the moment it's doing better than what I estimated. And he corrected himself, estimated. Yeah, I mean, for me, look, I can't complain here. I mean, it's telling me that I've made, over $10,000 in the last 31 days. That's something I haven't seen all year, and I'm happy with that. And that's sitting on 560 listings or something like that. So I don't have the hugest store, but I mean, we're trending at probably the last 7 days almost, and that's kind of an unfair number, but $3,600 the last 7 days. You take that collectible item out of the equation, I'm at about 1,800. So that's a little bit tricky. For me, I'm trying to get those numbers up, and yeah, I am seeing a trend, but I mean, Monday through Thursday wasn't so hot for me. So I guess for me, I'm kind of just doing a wait and see, and we'll see how things get. Tyler says, I got stock the other week and I'm only halfway through listing them. Okay. But you're listing them. That's the thing. You're not allowing them to accumulate like these shoes back here. Now, this is not for a lack of, not listing. I just have so much stuff in the garage. It's just, I'm going to get to these eventually. Picky Ricky listed 10 today. Prosser also says Bonanzas are good in ways that it can also sync with eBay. Now, let me ask you a question. You sell an item on Bonanza. How does that work with, like, let's say, returns? So those of you who actually have listed and sold anything on Bonanza, do you have to go in and set up your policies as if it was, I'm assuming it is a third-party site. do you have to abide by Bonanza's return policies, or is it just saying that it's taking the information off of eBay to sell the item, and you ship it through Bonanza, everything's through Bonanza, the policies are through Bonanza. So I'm assuming it's the latter, but just curious for those of you who've actually sold one item in a year, let me know what your thoughts are on that. And also what I do, just for those of you guys who don't know, and many of you do, I use a cross listing tool. I use Prime Lister. I mean, the link's down below if you want to check it out. It's still that 14-day free trial, that kind of thing. But for me, I use that tool for cross listing over to Mercari. So something that's stale, let's say that zero view item, right? Maybe you're up against a lot of competition. Maybe you're up against a lot of drop shippers who are shipping or selling stuff from Amazon. A lot of that Chinese overseas product that has over the years flooded the eBay market and really has hurt some sellers. Take the same items and put them onto Mercari, because there's no drop shippers over on Mercari. So you're gonna have less competition. Yeah, less buyers, but less people to fight against to get those sales. And that's what I've noticed. A lot of those slower moving items, and instead of just throwing them to the wayside, give them another 30 days on eBay. Maybe then that 30 days, put them on Mercari. It's my clearance aisle. That's what Mercari is. And so I blow a lot of things out that way. Let's see. Biff Boffo says, I stopped looking day to day. It's a waste of mental energy. I look at year to date versus last year. I'm up 1%. Yeah. I look at it all. I look at all of it. I like to look at, how's the last few days been, and then I look at the last week, then I look at the last month, and I look at this chart, and it just looks like someone was making a crazy roller coaster. I mean, if I'm being honest, I would be pretty afraid of that roller coaster. It has a pretty high peak and then a drop. So, that's just me selling everything. Ed says, do you have access to the 24 photo limit? Yes. Jenna was listing yesterday and noticed that, oh, by the way, we have 24 photos. I think I threw in a 13th photo. I'm not trying to shoot every angle of the shoe. For me, there's a few angles I like to take of the shoes. You can always check out my store if you want some ideas. And, I'm, doing all the angles, maybe all the facets of the shoe. But to me, that only takes like 12 photos at max. So I just don't see for myself how I would need any more than that. No One Design says, John, you need to list them hot pink shoes down on the lower left side behind you because my eyes keeps going to it. Oh, I see. The one like on the ground. Yeah. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll mix these up so you have something else to look at. And by the way, that Beaveropoly that you commented on my last video, I tossed that. I threw it out. Not because you said anything about it, but I noticed that the board was warped and the box was like not even worth listing. So I don't even know why I picked it up. Maybe because at the bins it was like 25 cents and I was like grabbing every game that I could find. And you can make some money, just a little bit of money here and there, just buying those kind of things. Charles says, liquidation pallet prices are crazy now. Wait till those resellers go broke. And it's funny. And I'm glad you said that, because, I've been looking at like, got a sale. What's sold? It won't even tell me now. What's going on here? Everything pops up, but I'll find out here. But you guys are very lucky for me, I tell you. We have another item that sold today, and it was a workout tank top for women for $13.49. So we'll take that. But back to what you're saying, Charles, with liquidation. For me, I did see that. I've seen that the seller that sold me that food was gone for a while, and I don't know if they maybe were suspended from the particular site I'm looking at, or if who knows what. But they came back and started selling all kinds of stuff, and there's a lot of people that were on top of those listings. And I mean, you're talking the 20 box lots of Amazon returns that I used to buy. Well, those, instead of like 400 or 500 for like a 20 box lot, were like almost $1,000. I couldn't believe it. I did pass on what I thought was a pretty good lot from that same seller, where it appeared, there's no manifest. You just got to look inside the box. and it appeared that they had like 4 Dell laptops in the box, but I didn't pull the trigger. I figured, you know what? I got enough stuff I'm sitting on right now. I just don't really need to take the chance. I've been buying a lot of good stuff at yard sales, really doing well with yard sales. So I'm pretty happy with that sourcing method. Now, was talking to Archie, the yard sale app was showing in the Vegas area, we had 52 yard sales last weekend. Now it's down to 32. And I can just imagine, in a couple weeks, it's going to be down to next to nothing because it's going to be really cold. So I'm curious how a lot of the people and there's probably a lot of you out there right now who are already there where there's just no yard sales in your area. And, do you gravitate towards maybe the thrift stores that are overpriced, or what do you do? Do you go look for liquidation? I'm curious, how do you supplement in times where, let's say, if your main source is yard sale, what's your backup way of sourcing? Shinville General says, how do you feel about someone selling their art on eBay? I think it's okay, but I think really you might want to also be listing that on Etsy. There's a lot of people who will sell a lot of their homemade stuff on Etsy. So make sure you're doing that as well. And that program I told you about, Prime Lister, down below, click the link, check it out. It'll also allow you to cross post as well over there. Nick says, debating selling items that cost $5 to $15 for $1 profit. Seems like there's basically an endless supply of these kinds of items on eBay. Yeah, but is the juice worth the squeeze? To me, I'm considering that. So anytime I'm buying something to resell, it's not worth my time if it's only $1 profit. Now, like those stupid shoes that I moved into the garage, and I call them stupid shoes because I think now it's not the best of purchases. Not really any extra work. It's very easy to ship. The listing's already done. 320 some odd items that are up and listed. For me, I'm making maybe $2, $3, $4 per item. And I guess if it sells often enough, I might change my mind on the purchase. But I'm trying not to grab the $1 profits. If I can buy a $1 item, turning it into 10, now it might not sound like I've sold it for a lot, but I've just made about, after fees, and I'm talking about $10 before shipping. So after fees and my cost, I'm probably making about $7, right? Like those hats. I picked up a lot of hats at some yard sales. I have about 20, 30 hats now. And I don't mind selling them for $10 to $20 plus shipping. I usually charge like $6.99 because after I put them in the eBay box and put them out, they're costing me about $5, $6 to ship anyway. So yeah, you just got to consider all those factors. I don't really, if you're debating it, I would side against it. Taking those $5 to $15 items that's going to yield you $1 after everything's said and done, you could probably find better opportunities to list or buy stuff to list elsewhere. Prosser says, I just ordered a pallet, so I'm curious what you ordered. What kind of pallet did you order? I'm down 39.5 last 31 days. Have been doing everything the same with markdowns and promoting. Nothing seems to be working. So I guess kind of my first response gravitates over to, Dave, what are you selling? Let's take a look at what you're selling. Is it everything, or are you actually at a niche that you're seeing that you're down in? Picky Ricky says, I was selling Christmas puzzles in the summer. Yeah, I mean, people will buy Christmas stuff year round. They will. I was selling stuff back in August, September for Christmas. I'm all sold out. The worst time to sell Christmas puzzles, I think, is probably around Christmas. I mean, most people have what they're looking for, unless it's a Christmas gift or something. Tommy says, I would take anything the auction professor says about as serious as my mailman giving out info. Sorry about that, guys. I needed to take a swig of my little energy drink thing. Speaking of mailmen, I got to tell you, about 3 weeks ago, you guys know I put that complaint in about my mail carrier. Say mailman, it's not a man. So my mail carrier, and it's like she was MIA for like 2 weeks. And I was just to the point where, I'm taking the packages in and I'm just resigning myself to do that. And hopefully the backup carrier who's already talked to me about it and he's been very good and really going out of his way to be as helpful as possible. If he's, on that day, then that's just the day I won't have to go to the post office. Well, guess what, guys? I think maybe someone spoke to this mail carrier and she showed up on Monday. Actually, no, she showed up on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before 4 o'clock. And she showed up. She was polite. She was happy to take my items. And she even brought some of my larger mail to the door instead of like dropping it over by my driveway. So I was surprised the first day. The second day she came, I was like, wow. Third day, it's like someone talked to her. And if you're having an issue, maybe this is a video I need to make. If you're having an issue with your carrier, and not just about having an issue with your carrier, but maybe setting up pickups and all that on the USPS website. If you're having an issue with your carrier, and they're not responsive, if you've talked to them, maybe you've gone to the local post office in your area and they're just not consistent, go on and just put in a complaint on the site, and eventually that complaint will get to the right people. I mean, look, we look at the postal service as kind of a sketchy outfit, but for me, they actually do a pretty good job of trying to deliver good service. Just I can see, like, if you put in a lost package request, right? The package is lost, no activity on the package. You go on the website and you put your information in. A lot of times, the post office, the receiving post office, will have someone call you if you've requested a callback, like I usually do, and that's cool. I wasn't, I'm not really expecting that. Even though you say, okay, call me, you're not really expecting that. It's a large organization, but in most cases, when I do, I get the call and they're like, "Hey, I haven't found the package yet." And a lot of times when you do that form, magically the item starts tracking again, right? So I just think, we give like a poo-poo to the U.S. Postal Service, and sometimes I'll do it as well. But I'm very impressed by the fact that it's obvious someone's spoken to her. So of course, she's not coming today. Hopefully, you guys aren't waiting for the postal carrier to show up today because it's Veterans Day and there's nobody coming today. It'll be on Saturday. And for me, probably just go drop it off tomorrow. Let's see. Nice ping. I just got it as well. Awesome. Glad you did. Nick says he did an 18 to 22 photo listing yesterday or day before. So tell me, what kind of item are you taking 22 photos of? I'm very, very curious. Doug says, "Hi, John. Women's shoes and bags selling quite well for me here in the UK. I'm sure they are. I just picked up the Vera Wang. I think that's the name of the purse, and it was a really nice one. This is a yard sale a couple weeks ago. Vera Wang and a Coach purse, and we just got that listed as well. No sales yet, though." Morty the One says, "Hello, everyone. Shoes and action figures have been doing good. For everything else, not so much, to try to stay positive." Yeah, you're going to get the toys. I have 2 bins of toys. That's probably a good thing. Maybe I should start listing those individual toys. They don't sell for a whole lot, but I mean, if I can't sell them now, when am I going to be able to sell them? I have these vintage toys. She's been sitting on these toys for like months. This lady I bought all the shoes from, not months, but years. And I think one's like one of the older GI Joes, like the larger ones, and it's not in the box or anything, but I still think that I could probably sell those and get pretty good money. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Morty, and I'm going to probably work on that tonight, because if you've got toys you're sitting on, you got to get them up. You got to get them up. So for me, it's going to be more of just getting that kind of item up. The toys is what's selling right now. And you're not going to find any better time of year to get your toys sold than Q4. I can promise you that. Ed says, "Hit that like button, everyone. It'll help the live and hopefully bring more people to this amazing pool of information." I'm always, like I said, I'm always looking to introduce more people to the program. Of course, everyone who does this wants to grow, and I'm no exception. I was talking to Archie today, and I just want, not only want do I want the channel to grow, because look, I can't expect to do much more as a channel if I'm not bringing you guys good content. And I'm really thinking of ways to, even improve my editing. So I'm using the iMovie on my phone to edit a lot of the videos that I bring to you guys, and I'm starting to think outside the box of ways that can improve the quality of the information you're getting, or the quality of the video. And of course, if I'm delivering a quality video, then I guess you're going to want to stick around and watch. Tyler's Trading Post says, I think all mods should get a free Flippin' Ain't Easy hat. I can't even get a free Flippin' Ain't Easy hat. If you click down below, you can check it out. Doesn't hurt to go and look. There's a lot of Flippin' Ain't Easy merch. I think for me, even though, you think that I would get free hats and stuff, it's like, for us, it's like 25% off. And it's like, what's that about? So yeah, go down and check it out if you have the wherewithal to do that. Maybe want to support the channel and want to get a hat. We have shirts, we have bags, we have all kinds of things that you can pick up if you're interested. Let's see. Biff Boffo says, I think most needs are just wants in disguise. So that's my excuse, when I'm out and about and I need to convince Jenna, like, hey, I really need this new whatever, gadget. That doesn't really work though, to get her approval on that. But I think you're right. For some people, people justify in their mind why they have to have it when they really don't. Let's see. If it flips, it ships 101. Unfortunately, things are going to get worse because people are not spending money. I would advise you do the same. And, just be careful. Be careful, especially when it comes to buying merchandise to resell. My biggest fear is, and this is why I haven't really bought a lot of liquidation, I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff that is just going to not move. And, like a lot of liquidation I've been looking at lately is stuff that's not manifested. So I have no idea what I'm getting in a lot of these lots. So I'm very careful lately. Of course, if it's manifested and you can, do your homework, see that even recently these items have been selling. I mean, if you get a bunch of like $300 Sony headphones, like the lot I got a couple years ago or back in 2021, by all means, knock yourself out. But with the price of gas, fuel, the shortage of diesel fuel that some people are saying that might be a shortage coming up here, that's going to affect your ability to buy liquidation, online and have it shipped to you. And I haven't had that in a while because the cost of freight is just so much more than it used to be that it almost kills the value of the item, because you're factoring in that cost into the item itself. So a lot of reasons why I haven't done a lot of liquidation, but I tend to agree, and I hope I'm proved wrong that maybe as we hit 2023, things will change. But I mean, have you seen anything that's really making you think that something's going to change? I mean, what positive development have you seen that really makes you think, oh, here we go, we're going to turn the corner? I just haven't seen it. Let's see. My 90-day total has been 4 to 5,000, although through 2022 did not matter what I did. I never went above 5K. So, Picky Ricky, what are you selling? Help me know what you're selling. I'd like to know, because if you're selling like collectibles and that type of thing, that might be part of what's going on here. Teresa says, I don't see that your show purchase was a mistake. If I remember how little you paid for each pair, the shoes might not be good fit for eBay or even online. Offer wholesale to local mom pop thrift. And I've done the marketplace thing. I've listed them up on marketplace. I got to tell you, for me, it's crickets on marketplace. But the only problem I see with these shoes, I mean, it took me 10 minutes to list them all. Of course, you just got to list one shoe and put the quantity in there. It's more about, it's just the storage. And I I don't know what I was thinking when I bought them. I was really thinking, oh, less than $1 a pair, awesome. But I wasn't really thinking about the logistics like I should have. And like for me, I have limited space. Don't have to put them in here anymore, but it's just I'm working around the boxes, and it's almost like that conversation, is the juice worth the squeeze? Had I had a chance to do it again, I think I might have erred on the side of not, only because I'm picking up a lot more stuff. This is before I bought these shoes. And of course, I wouldn't be storing these shoes right here. I'd be storing them in the garage if I didn't have all that space taken up. Now, if you have a warehouse, you have an extra room to work with to put a lot of this stuff, by all means, there's nothing wrong with that kind of purchase. Eventually, the 300 pairs are going to be sold, because I'm selling, maybe I've got one to ship out already. I'm selling maybe 2 or 3 a week. So after a while, they'll be gone. But I'm grateful, because I almost went out and bought another big pallet of these immediately after I bought this one, thinking, well, they gave me a bunch of size 2s. Maybe I can get one of the other sizes that they sell, thinking I would just do a variation listing once I get them in. But Jenna she scolded me and talked me out of it. Let me put it that way. She's like, you're not buying any more of those damn shoes. Ed says, computer all the way. I can stand doing listings on my phone. Plus, I have to do a computer because of cross listing. So are you saying that you do the listings only on your computer, or this sounds like you're also, I can stand doing listing on my phone. So I'm kind of confused on that. But for me, I can do both ways. I like just doing the bare bones listing on the phone. Here's the thing. I can say, look, I can go in and modify my listing and really make it look better, add more item specifics, do a lot more things to the listing once it's listed. And there's times that I've listed it, like today I sold an amplifier. It's something I picked up at the bins, and I didn't have to go onto my computer, because literally 30 minutes after I listed it, I had a cha-ching. And it's, how many items are you sitting on right now that are in your backdrop or in your workspace that could have been sold had you have listed them already? So find the fastest way to get your items listed. And I think for some, we get into our comfort zone and we get so set in our ways. I use the computer. I'm not using that new technology. I'm just going to, and that's like, sound like an old guy. And I guess I'm getting old, but I'll never say that, because for me, it's finding new ways to get the item listed. And it took me a while to get acclimated to using the app to list, but it'll slow you down at first, maybe the first day or two. But once you get the hang of it, you go find a listing in the search, sell similar, and then use the information, that successful listing. Now I'm using the ones that have sold already. I'm not using the ones that haven't sold. So I'm finding a successful listing and I'm selling similar, and I'm taking all the information they've entered in. Maybe if it's a size difference or something like that, I'll change it in the item specifics, adding just a real quick blurb in the item description. And I'm using my dictation. So I hit the button and I could just speak into my phone and tell eBay what I want to be in the listing, set my price, set my weight of my item and my dimensions, and list it. And then if I need to go in and make it look pretty or whatever you normally do, go to your computer and do that. But at least you have it listed. Genesis, I'm thinking about taking on some kind of Christmas giveaway or something. I'll have to talk to the big guy and see what we come up with. But I don't know what we have to give away. So we're going to have to talk about that. Nick M says agrees with that. I love my 60% mech board. Fun to list on PC, dual screen while watching Flippin' Ain't Easy. Yeah, I have my computer in here. I have 2 screens. I have one, this screen that I usually get information off of. So if you ever see me looking over to the left, it's because, or maybe you're right, I don't know, this is all backwards. It's because I have another computer screen here, and then I'm looking directly into the screen in front of me. Ping G says, I agree with you, Ed. I can barely type on my cell phone, so I barely use it, only for emergencies when I'm traveling. But it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. And in fact, even when you're searching for the item on the eBay app, you can scan the actual barcode, or you can even take a photo of the item and it'll pop up any item that looks similar to that, sort of like Google Lens. to find the item. And that's very useful when, like, I don't know how to quite identify whatever I'm looking at. And like, I had a pair of um, Belvedere. Anyone heard of Belvedere? These are, I guess they're ostrich. Um, it's made of ostrich, and it's like a black and white shoe. I have it listed, but I couldn't find any information on it. All it just says Belvedere, and on the inside of the shoe. And I wouldn't have known that it was a Kevin model. I don't know what that means, but um, looked it up, and the pair goes for like $400 brand new. So, of course, because it's like ostrich. So, went in and listed it, and it's because of Google Lens and technology like that that has helped me really be able to identify things that before I would have just listed as just a generic pair of shoes, and someone could have picked it up for me for less than $50 and probably flipped it on eBay for, twice the amount that I sold it to them for. I have that pair right now up on eBay for $149, and that's used, and they look really good, and they're used though. I think the seller who's selling them new is selling for like 225, 230. So I'm thinking that by undercutting that seller, I'll get a pretty quick flip. Let's see. Froster says I list on my phone, then cross list from there. And I think that's the fastest way to do it. Oh, one thing also I noticed when I was coming onto the live stream, 15,000 subscribers, guys. Thanks for being a part of it. You guys, I'm sure those of you in the chat have probably already subscribed, but we have 102 people watching, and I see the same names. We're probably looking at the same 15 people. Hey, if you have questions, if you just want to say hi, please drop in to the chat and participate. Really, there's no rush for me to be done by any certain time. I do try to finish up by 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, which is like another 45 minutes from now. But just depending on how it goes, we'll see, how long we'll make this thing go. Any questions that you guys have, I'd love to talk about, though. Blithering Rando says the hardest part going into Q4 right now is finding good stock. It's been getting slow the last couple weeks. Right, especially when maybe your sourcing isn't available. If you do yard sales, again, if you're stuck going to the thrift store, are you paying higher prices? So I'm just curious, for those of you who source seasonally, when let's say the weather is not bad, what do you source when you can't get to those locations, like yard sales? I'm very curious about that. Charles says, I'm still selling low-end stuff at flea market and high-end collectibles on eBay. I need a vacation soon. So I'm very curious about that too, Charles. Looking into the idea of selling at a flea market has always been intriguing to me, like loading up, like a U-Haul or your truck or whatever it is, and taking it out to the flea market. We're talking stuff that you just don't want to be bothered with. Maybe those $2, $3, $4, $5 items that you can maybe get a couple bucks for. It's really not worth your time to list on eBay. Really curious how that works out for you. No One Design says, tip, you need many income streams, maybe 2 or 4 eBay stores, Posh, Mercari, Depop, FMP, Etsy, it's Etsy, but we will forgive you. YouTube. This way, all source will supplement your steady income. Right. So let's say, for instance, you're selling $200 a week. Of course, for most of us, that ain't going to cut it, right? When we're selling $200 a week, we need to find other ways to get our items in front of other people. So all the things that No One Design's talking about here, you can go on to each of these sites and list your item. And that's why a lister, a cross lister, whether it's the one I have down below or the more expensive one that Ed likes or the other ones that are out there, it does the same thing. It gets your items over from one platform to the next. Now, one tip that I have for those of you who are looking at a cross listing, and this is something I'm changing now, get your photos on eBay in square format. So when you're on your phone listing, like your iPhone, many of you guys do the photos on your iPhone. So I'll go to photo. There's a pointed arrow that's pointed up. So if you're looking at, you see that? There's a pointed arrow right there in the center top. You click on that pointed arrow and it brings you options up. So these options down below will appear, okay? If you can see that. Click on what looks like 3 boxes. No, that's not it. I'm wrong. Let me do that again. Click on, you see where it says 4 and 3. It's right next to the 3 boxes. It's for me, it's on the very right. Click on that and it'll give you the option to use square. And it'll be in square format. And the reason why that's important, if you guys are able to follow me there, apparently Mercari wants you to put photos in Mercari in square format. So if you're doing like the 4x3, what's going to happen is when you use any of these cross listers to move your photos from eBay to Mercari, it's going to be this blown up photo. And I'm selling my items on Mercari, guys. I've got 200 some odd items cross posted from eBay to Mercari. I'm selling stuff on Mercari with crap pictures because of that. Okay. Only a few of my listings have decent photos. So I've got to go back in and redo the photos on the ones on Mercari. It's something that I really don't want to mess with because it means I have to pull down the item, rephotograph them, and this, that, and the other thing. So it just shows you the power of cross posting. If I had these kind of problems with photos on eBay, I wouldn't make near the sales that I do. People can't see your item very well. They can't really see what you're selling. And I'm still selling my items on Mercari. So get on over there, cross post. I don't care how you do it, but get your items up in front of other people. Tommy says, I say this going to be the strongest Q4 because the worse the economy is, the better it is for pre-owned goods. Desirable pre-owned necessities are a gold mine for bad economy. And I think I talked about maybe that could be a few months ago that, if we run into a bad, Q4, bad economy, people are going to be less inclined to say, look, I'd like to have this new thing. It's $100, but I can get it on eBay for 50. Maybe it's open box. It's, maybe that cellophane that's on the outside is the only difference between the one that I get brand new and the one that maybe is being sold at Best Buy or wherever you're buying it from. And I do tend to agree with that statement. But I also heard someone talking in another podcast about how just the stuff that we have is going to be harder and harder to come by as we kind of move forward. So right now, I think you're seeing a lot of excess stock. If you're able to get good liquidation shelf pulls, like the toys that I picked up about a month or two ago, for me, it's just something that is going to be more of a challenge, I think. Uh-oh, Jenna is in here doing something. I don't know what she's doing. She's getting the shoes. I guess they're bothering no one design. Sorry.
Now move on.
Am I that far behind in chat? I am, aren't I? Okay. All right. That's cool. Nick says, hope so. People do know they can get deals on eBay. There's people that buy stuff on eBay simply because someone doesn't know how to price their stuff and they grab it, they get it shipped to them. A lot of people sell stuff free shipping. What? So, yeah, I agree with you on that. Let me just kind of fast forward real quick because, wow, I'm so far behind. Thank you, Mike, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. And I do hope that you did get your package. I'm sure by now you had to have received it, but thank you for everything you do to support the channel. I appreciate that. Let's fast forward and get here to some people here that maybe have something to say. The Tommy Bernard podcast, Beaveropoly, is what we call 70s porn in public. But that was the name of the game. And I'm assuming that it was an Oregon-based, the state of Oregon-based, not Oregon-based, but the state of Oregon-based board game. But now this is ridiculous, guys. You guys, I really appreciate you guys. Jeez. You don't have to give me super chats, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, buddy. And thank you. Oh, next coffee on me. Yes. We are going to probably get coffee, going to Starbucks or something. That will be something that we do. Tom Tommy says, put out posts on Facebook and next door what you're buying. Be amazed what people offer. You know, and there's another thing I wanted to do, and we don't have our color printer is broken. We with all the technology that I deal with, but I don't really have the desire and need to get a color printer. And I'm going to make some business cards for the yard sales. So I think, and Mike, my buddy Mike Camparelli, excellent idea. I mean, he gave me his business card. I still have it with me. And, you know, hopefully I can maybe share to give you an idea, but I'll hide, I'll hide his phone number there. But he's got these little business cards. Okay. And I think it's brilliant. You have them made up. You go to the yard sales, you go to wherever you source and say, hey, look, interested in your items. If you find that you just didn't sell them, you know, here's what I'm interested in, you know, all these other things you have, you know, I really don't need that, but reach out to me after the yard sale. Let me know what you have and maybe we can work something out. I think that's brilliant. I really do. And here we go. What are you guys doing to me here? We got Prosser. John, keep up the good work and have a coffee on me. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Uh-oh. That's a good sign. That's a Mercari sale. So if you guys haven't heard that noise before, that's a Mercari sale. But thank you, Prosser. I appreciate you. And certainly we'll do that. And then Ed, thanks, Ed. I appreciate it, man. And then, you know, also check out Ed's channel. That guy works hard, man. He does some really good videos. So go check his channel out. But, you know, thank you guys, each and every one of you. I appreciate it. You know, I was joking about that whole sale that I had with the spaceship, the Space 1999. I was yelling and screaming, "We're going to Sizzler! We're going to Sizzler!" Anyone in Southern California knows that little. It's not really a good thing, but it's kind of a like a joking way to say, "Hey, you know, we scored, right?" And you know, with all these super chats, I might just have to go to Sizzler now. I don't think we have any in Vegas, but I might have to drive out to California for it. Let's see. I know I'm way behind. I'm sorry, guys. Nick M says high-end vintage stereo, but it's two of them. So he's talking about a stereo. So I apologize. This overstuffed house says I have toys and sealed jigsaw puzzles to get up. Excuse me, I had to scratch my nose. Going to winter has always been a good time for jigsaw puzzles. Yes. I sell, you know, like at the bins, get the puzzles for 25 cents. Believe it or not, I've taken a couple things from the bins and I've sent them over to Amazon. So I've sold some items on Amazon from the bins, believe it or not. And they were in new condition, by the way. Picky Ricky says you want to look out for American brand Liberty in open form, still crazy money. So I don't know what is that the just Liberty. What does Liberty make? Just very curious about that. This overstuffed house says I worked at a museum store during the last economic drop, and we saw jewelry sales drop, but books soared. Same was in my eBay store at the time. And I'm getting some books. You'll be surprised some of the books you can pick up too. You know, if I get anything that sells for 10 to 15, 20 bucks for $1 or less, I'm happy. I'm happy about that. Mad Scientist says 31 days sales are up 83%. So that really kind of tells me that maybe, you know, Q4 is making a difference for a lot of people. Doug says, what selling price limit do you use to decide when an offer free shipping or not? Or does it depend on the product? So for me, Doug, it depends on the size and weight of the item more than anything else. So if it's an item that would fit into, now I believe you're in the UK. So whatever your postage is, that for us it's £1. For you, it might be something different. But whatever that weight is that allows you to ship it cheaply. For us, it's £1 if you're shipping it on eBay. And for me, that if it's a $10, $15 item, you know, and I have free shipping, that's fine. I'm going to spend $5 of that. I'm only going to do it for $1 or less. eBay is going to grab their share. I'll make $5, $6, $7 on it. I'm happy with that. You got to find whatever it is. So for me, sometimes I'll have free shipping up to £2. It means I will be willing to spend nine or $10 out of pocket for a two-pound item, but that's built in the price of the item. And maybe it's an item that a lot of other people are selling free shipping, and I would be kind of the fish out of water. There's no tried or true tested formula on that particular item that supports charging an extra shipping fee. But also, if it's more than 2 pounds, now I'm getting into USPS ground territory where it's going to be cheaper to go USPS ground. And it may be for that 3-pound item, I'm shipping it the state over. It's $10, but I'm shipping it across the country. That one's going to be $15, $16. For me, and that's with eBay's discounted shipping rates. For me, I'd rather just say, you know what? I don't want to take a chance in whatever the amount is that I'm going to have to pay for this item, offering free shipping. I would rather you pay calculated shipping. I'll lower the actual price of the item a little bit to kind of compensate for that. Because of course, if an item's selling for $20 free shipping, you don't want to sell it for $20 plus shipping. No one's going to buy your item. So you're going to bring the cost of your item down. And that I do that for a couple reasons. Number one is last thing you want is to have a $20 item free shipping. It's 3-4 pounds. You ship it out to Puerto Rico, and now you're making nothing. I've seen that's happened to me many times when I first started. But also, let's say, look, I changed my mind. I don't want to buy this item anymore, or I don't want this item anymore. I've had it shipped to me. It doesn't fit. It doesn't look, whatever. You know, these remorse returns. So guess what? You've offered $20 free shipping. You spent $10 of that to ship it to them. They ship it back to you on your dime because maybe you've offered free returns. Let's say you didn't offer free returns. Let's say they paid to send it back. Well, you offered $20 free shipping. Okay. So you sent it back to them. You can't deduct any amount. You're not supposed to deduct any amount for that original outbound shipping label because it wasn't defined in the sale. So therefore, you have to give them a $20 refund. Now, for me, I sold that same item for $12 plus the cost of shipping. Guess what they're getting back on that remorse return? They're getting the $12 back for the cost of the item itself and not the original shipping label. They want to throw a fit and complain and take it up with someone, they can contact eBay, and that's fine with me. I've never had a problem with that, and that's what works for me. So free shipping on items that are heavy is, to me, not a good formula. That's just my opinion. Let's see. Jesse's selling shoes and my place is starting to smell. Hopefully it's not smelling like old popcorn, like that nasty shoe smell. I just have that smell of leather here. So a lot of these shoes, I'm telling you, a lot of these shoes, this person, they got from various family members, and they must have had money at some point, because they had all kinds of big brands, and a lot of the shoes are been worn maybe a couple times. They're very, very clean from what we've seen. And they just said, you know what, I need a new pair of shoes. And they go get another pair of shoes. Or maybe they had so many shoes, maybe they had one pair of shoes for each day of the week. I don't know. But we don't have the whole popcorn smell or the old nasty old popcorn smell. You guys know what I'm talking about when you have that nasty foot thing going on. So sorry about that. It's time to go get some Febreze, I guess. Let's see. Genesis, thank God I didn't let him buy any more of those combat boots. So yeah. Let's see. Ed says, I meant to say can't, but I do listing on my computer. I take pictures on my phone and then transfer my photos to my computer and do everything from my desktop. And then Tommy has thousands of shoes in his basement and no smell. Is that your death pile? I'm curious. Or is that just your, because I stage things. So for me, I don't want to call this my death pile. This is just, it's queued up. It's in queue. So it's going to be listed eventually. Nick M says, if your internet is slow, PC listing is much faster with batch photo compression. Yeah, it is. It just, to take everything that I'm going to list. I used to do this. I used to take, okay, I'm going to list these 20 items. So I then identify the 20 items I'm going to list. I would then photo them in my photo booth area. Okay. And then I'd move all the items into here, or not here, but my listing area. And then I'm, okay, this item's on the scale. Let's transfer the photos over to the computer and let's list them. And okay, it's done. Let's go walk out there and put it on the shelf. For me, I'm already out there. And so if it's taking the step of all those steps of moving everything in here and, getting it all together into a listing format, and I could do it out there and save myself the steps and the time, I think that's something you guys need to maybe look into if you can do it. And honestly, I don't necessarily think it's dictated by how fast your internet is. If you have a good connection to your, maybe you have a good a cell signal, you could do it that way as well. Of course, you want to do Wi-Fi if you can, but I haven't had any issues at all with the phone. And this is coming from someone that really never wanted to list on their phone. So it's just something you have to kind of force yourself to get used to, and then determine, hey, do I like it or do I not? Give yourself some time at it though before you make a decision on that. This overstuffed houses, I started doing drafts on the phone, and then I can tweak them on the laptop later. Now I've been just listing them from the phone and then tweaking them on the laptop. Now that's good. You can, okay, so I'm gonna take my phone. I'm gonna do a search on this item, right? You find the item in the solds that is exactly the one you're selling, right? So you go in, you got to scroll down through a lot of other stuff that shouldn't be there. Find the bubble that says sell like this. Click on that, okay, and you get it up. Go to the very bottom and then just put save for later. That's a step right there that can save you some time. That'll let you do everything you normally do on the computer, except now it's all in draft form. You don't have to search for it. It's in your drafts. Just find the item and work with that. So maybe that's a tip for those of you selling the computer who really haven't found a need to use the eBay app, and that's a good way to maybe save yourself some time. Catch up to you guys a little bit. The Monster Loon says, I only use the app to add photos to listings I draft on my laptop. Okay. Alexander Diaz says, I missed the live about 40 minutes back. It's okay. Go back, watch it. Leave your comments down below. I'd appreciate that. Danny Nafo says, I think people are overthinking the economy. After 2 bad quarters, we had normal third quarters and 2.6% growth. Unemployment is insanely low and wages are up. Corporate profits are up. The only thing about that whole unemployment thing, and it's been going on for years, is the way the thing is. If someone's out of a job for, I think, 48 months, once they stop being eligible to receive unemployment, they're no longer counted. So like me, if I was to say, okay, reselling ain't it, I need to figure something out, I can't just go and collect unemployment. So I'm not even considered in that number anymore. There's a lot of people who are doing gig jobs. Maybe they're driving like Uber Eats and stuff like that. They're no longer being counted. And so that number, if you're looking at it as a whole, that number is way higher than what they're showing it as. I don't know what the number is, 5, 6, 7% unemployment. I don't know what that number is, but I can assure you that it's a lot larger than what it's being reported. And all presidents do that to make themselves look good. And I've never agreed with it, but it's just how they play the game. Ed says, Google Lens is definitely a game changer. Sadly, Goodwill and thrift stores use it to their prices. Yeah, and that's sad. I mean, they're getting the items for zero. Goodwill is absolutely doing, I mean, I guess they're trying to maybe make more money. Do they even have shareholders? I don't know if they do or not, but why would they want to? I guess they're like any company, looking at their bottom line, making more money over, forget the resellers. How about the people who need the stuff? So you have people right now that go into Goodwill and say, you know what? Maybe they have a family, 3 or 4 kids, and that's the only way they can buy stuff for their kids for school. And they go in there and they're sticker shocked because they can't afford, what Goodwill's asking for this pair of pants or this shirt. Collectively, it's a lot more money for them to buy. So I just think they're hurting the people that it was kind of meant for. Now, there's a lot of people out there who probably dropped me a message in this very video. I've seen them before where they say that resellers are part of the problem. I don't think so. I think resellers are going to go in and buy items that they can resell, just like you can resell anything that you want. Again, I think it's the greed on Goodwill's behalf or any of the thrift stores that are doing this, because they get so much merchandise. You go to the Goodwill bins, see how much stuff they're just throwing in the bins that they can't resell. Why can't they resell it? Why can't they? They're reselling it at the bins. And the reason is because they're choosing a price point. And if they can't sell it at that price point, they're simply throwing it in the Goodwill bins, at the clearance center. All they got to do is create a section of their store After about a month, if the item doesn't sell, throw it in their own bins and say, look, every item in here is 99 cents. And they won't have a need for a clearance center. And it's just that greed. I don't understand. Thomas has got to keep up with the time of the times. App never has issues. I use a computer for shipping only. Yeah, I'm sold on the app, guys. I just really am. I'll go in and do my sell similar. All the stuff for maintenance I'll do on the computer, but listings no longer. I'm doing it all on the app now. No one designs has hit the like, guys. Those hot pink shoes, bottom left, that Jenna moved out of the screen. That's why she moved them. I sit in my recliner surrounded by stuff. I make the draft, everything but picks and shipping, then go out and take picks, weigh, and boom, it's listed. Yeah, Mel, that's a good formula. I think it's if you use the app, you're going to save yourself some time. Blithering Rondo says, I've been doing my sourcing at thrift shops and place that does Amazon returns, Amazon return bins. Okay. Jenna says 15,000 subs. Congratulates. Yes, thank you guys. I put that on you. I mean, there's people that will tell other people about the channel that, let's say you're a reseller, you have friends that like reseller content on YouTube, and you've told them about this channel. Thank you guys for doing that. I certainly appreciate it. And I've been debating. Cincinnati Picker told me a good month or so ago when he was on the program that maybe the channel would be better if I moved all the live stuff to its own channel. This is something I'm thinking about. Of course, we're going to keep doing the lives. I enjoy doing the lives, and then just maybe keep this channel as 100% just recorded content that I can focus on. But don't know what you guys think. Of course, I'm always open to your feedback on how I can improve the channel. If there's anything you guys see in these videos that, hey, John, you could do better, please let me know, because that's kind of what I'm about. I want to keep making it better for you guys. The Sober Stuff House says, I found local auction house that will do small batches. So if I have to just one box of vintage glass bottles, they will take it. I get 75%. Okay. You got to find ways to, to make money in this business. Reselling Writer says, it's hard, John, just from my experience, since I source from the flea market 90% of the time. I avoid the booths that are organized and look nice, since those are the ones that are high priced. Yeah, it's just like going to a yard sale and you have you can tell that they have half their stuff out there from a pallet. You already know, or you see high prices on their items. You know that it's time to kind of walk away. Like one lady down the street, she had a bunch of stuff out there, and some of it was interesting. But I heard her interacting with another person, asking, "How much do you want for this?" $30. And I look, it was a new dress or something, but it's like, will you take 20? No. It's like, okay, I'm done. Because if she's not working with that sale, she's not going to work with anything else. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's see. Ed says, I look for the ones that look like a mess and just throw things around with no order. Those are usually the cheapest. And I think that's the same thing for yard sales. Picky Ricky says, I'm on Etsy and Facebook. It's been rubbish for me, and Amazon can't read my information to get me verified. Yeah, and Amazon is is really tricky, though. You have to get gated or ungated to sell a lot of the stuff on there, and it's just kind of a pain. Susan says, good evening, everyone. My fourth quarter going well, continuing to learn. And that's awesome. So, when you get to fourth quarter next year, hopefully you get more knowledge and you can learn from mistakes and not repeating the mistakes. Ed says he uses square mode, thought that all platforms preferred that format. I mean, eBay's plays nice with the regular 4x3. And, I was wondering, why is Mercari just taking my photos and they look like crap? And that's because it's in the wrong format. Mike says, congrats on 15,000 subs. You'll be receiving that 100,000 YouTube plaque next. Keep it up. That would be nice. That would really be nice. But, I'm a ways away from even thinking about that. Just the fact that here I am, I'm going on my this was my third year, going on my fourth year of doing YouTube videos. And it's just kind of cool to say that I have over 15,000. I mean, I remember watching a video. You guys remember, geez, what's her name? Well, one of the YouTubers that no longer does videos, and I you guys got to refresh my memory. Last name Glenn. Don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but I remember being on her just one of her lives, and she's like, "Wow, guys, so excited! We got 10,000 subscribers, and just look where she is now. She's like at 125,000. She doesn't even do videos anymore. So I'm just going to keep plugging away, delivering the best content that I can, and hopefully you guys stick with me. I'm thankful for each and every one of you guys. Ping G says, I used to sell at the flea market back in the day of double coupons, had a source for Sunday supplements. All grocery stores back then, double coupons. I'd make my grocery store rounds. This was before all the $1 discount stores. So we made a killing selling cleaning supplies, medicines, shampoos, etc. Ping G, I can tell you that I used to do the double coupon thing just for fun. I worked the 6 p.m. to 2:30 in the morning shift at the railroad, and between midnight and 2:30 in the morning was just dead. So I get the paper and, oh, here's some coupons. Cut through the paper. There's a place that was open 24 hours, a Ralph's, not far from where I was working. Head over to Ralph's at 2 in the morning. They're open 24 hours. They doubled the coupons and they had their sales and stuff. There'd be times I get like a cartload of stuff for, just pennies on the dollar. And it was more of just a, what can I get kind of thing. Let me just put it that way. I didn't even need half the stuff I picked up. Doug says, I use Square on my iPhone for eBay all the time, then use the photo room app to remove the background and to be white. Yes, I do that as well. That's awesome. Purple Cactus sales, collectibles and toys selling great way up because I've found lots with multiples, same items for really low prices. Yeah, this time of year, you're going to see a lot of toys. I need to get those toys out there up tonight. Yeah, I'm about 30 minutes behind. So sorry, guys. I'm going to keep going and get through this as quickly as I can, but I don't want to miss any of your comments and questions. No, he doesn't. Picky Ricky Dude is just a marketing scam artist. I think you're talking about another YouTuber. Hopefully you're not thinking that I am, because I certainly don't want to be portrayed that way. Tommy says, anyone that sells courses or Patreon for reselling is a scammer. They don't make enough selling and need your money. And that's, to me, it's sad. That's sad. And it's again, you guys know how I feel on that. It's not something you're going to see me ever do. The worst I'll ever do is maybe do like some kind of a membership thing. Like I said, there, you got like a funny avatar or whatever, if you want to do something like that. But it's I get paid by YouTube. It's a few $100 a month, but it's not about the money. Yeah, it's nice and stuff, and I can do things here and there for the channel, but it's just this community is something that has built and become something I've never thought it would be. I just wanted to be some guy that would just put out videos to help other people, and even doing lives wasn't even in the thought process. But now that I'm doing it, I enjoy it. Let's see. Tommy says Dr. Professor has a huge ego and thinks he sells a lot, when in reality his 800 low dollar sales every 90 days is laughable compared to his ego. Now I'm curious though. I don't know a whole lot about Auction Professor. I know he says that he makes a lot in sales, and they really do well. I'm just kind of curious though, what if he's maybe hiding his sales. There's some people out there that do hide their sales so that other people can't see. I think Daily Refinement was kind of big on doing that. I never saw the point. It's like, look, I'm just like you guys. If you guys want to come check out Value Trends and see how I'm doing, you guys can, and see that I'm just being honest about the stuff that I'm selling. I don't really have a reason to misrepresent that. Sarah says, good evening. Just got home from dinner and jumped on. Hopefully you're having a good dinner. LSGS Rob's in the house. Sup, Johnny boy? Made it late. How's sales? If you're watching us this late, if you're still with us, I'm way behind on the program, but sales are up. They're up about 80-90% as compared to last month, but that's not saying a whole lot when last month was crap. So Picky Ricky says, so you got a lot of hate for some reseller YouTubers. Both of those are still inspirational. And here's the thing. I mean, everyone's got their opinion. Everyone's got their ideas on, who they follow, why, and some people feel very strongly about it. And I'm going to not disrespect those feelings. I can speak for myself. I don't know if Tommy responded here or not, but I can speak for myself in that I will still watch certain YouTubers that I really, really don't think are doing the best for the community, because from time to time they will have a few nuggets of information. So while I'm working, that stuff will be playing in the background, and if I pick something up, I'll go, okay, I didn't know that, and I'll just move on. I think there's a lot of good YouTubers in the community that do really good stuff. But the moment you start looking for ways to squeeze money out of them, either on screen or off screen, behind the scenes, and reaching out to people, I think that's shameful. And if any of you guys are watching this right now that are doing that, you guys got to reconsider. I mean, these people are trying to make money just like you are. A lot of these people are new sellers. They're just trying to learn. They're trying to support their family. They're trying to supplement their income. And to take advantage of that for your own gain, I think is not right. It's not right at all. Now, is your time worth something? Yes. YouTube is probably, if you're getting 100,000 subscribers, YouTube is probably paying you pretty decently. If you're doing shorts on other sites like TikTok and Instagram, you're going to get money from that too. I mean, I do shorts on those, not TikTok, but on Instagram, and I'm not making a dime, but I still do it because I want to put my information out there. For me, my time's worth what right now YouTube's saying it's worth. Maybe when I get more people that are watching, it'll be worth more than that. But it's not about that. It's really just about getting the message out, getting the information out, trying to help people get better, and understanding that we're kind of all into this together. We don't have eBay supporting us, and I think we really need to just think of it in terms of, how can we help each other with information? I get a lot of you guys that'll send me emails, say, hey, did you know this? Well, I learned that. And if I didn't have this channel, I wouldn't even have known it if it wasn't for you guys. So, I respect everyone's opinion, though. LSGS Rob, been sourcing some really good inventory for cheap after I realized I have 5 Salvation Army thrift stores around me. I have to check out Salvation Army. I haven't really done that. Sarah says, I charge shipping on almost all cases. I drop by $1 each time I relist. Once it goes to free shipping, I know it's time to let it go. You got to have some kind of formula to get rid of the item. For me, it's just, let's use Mercari, use it as a a clearance store, and move my stuff. Eddie just finished sourcing at a 50% off Veterans Day sale. UPS is cheaper and you get insurance. Parcel Select is high and no insurance. So yeah, I like UPS Ground, that's for sure. Tommy says it's hate for people that ruin people's livelihood with bad info. Remember, what you stated about can't increase 90 days no matter what. Well, stop watching bad info. It will change. Yeah, bad information can be detrimental. And, I can tell you from working in the corporate world, you sometimes feel like you have to fix bad information. So someone contacts you and they're totally misguided about something. You have to say, well, no, that's not quite right. And I'd have to do that all the time at my previous job. So I get it. Let's see. No One Design says, nasty foot don't smell like popcorn here in the East Coast. Must be a Vegas thing. I don't know the smell. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like, wow, that's rich. That's not coming from me. I don't have bad smelling feet, but you know what I'm talking about. You go on a road trip with someone and they take their shoes off and it's like, wow, let's roll the windows down. That kind of smell. What do they say? It's on an Austin Powers movie. If you're, what did he say? If you're in an apartment building and you walk by and you say, wow, what are they cooking? That plus crap. So I don't know. You guys remember that line, but that was always funny for me. Let's see. No One Design says, can't list on phone, have templates set. Templates don't work on mobile. But what if you set the listing, right, as a draft and then go back and add the template, and, leave your item description alone, but add the template to your finishing up process, if that makes sense. And Nick M says, my computer is the same spot as shipping and inventory. I'm like 40 miles from civilization. If I had my phone in hand, wouldn't even get service. Wow, that's horrible. Trying to catch up to you guys. I think I am. I think I'm catching up. Ed says, did you see the letter circulating around about the Yeezy products that Goodwill just wants them to be thrown into the trash? I thought Goodwill is about saving items from the garbage as well. This whole virtue signaling thing about we can't wear this because this person said that. We shouldn't do this because this person said that. It's like, enough. If someone wants to wear a pair of shoes because some guy said something he shouldn't have said, let that person decide. Don't. There shouldn't be any kind of entity that decides what everyone else should be thinking. Sarah says Goodwill's main mission is employment. They need to change. They need to charge more to keep up with minimum wage now. I know. I think didn't they just pass something that's $22 like in California for minimum wage? Is that right? I don't know if that's right or not. That just seems pretty high. One busy mama to you. My sales have picked up lately, which I'm grateful. I did get nervous the other day when I received an offer, and I'll look at buyers' feedback. They had signed up that same day on eBay. But here's the thing you got to consider. If you're using white backgrounds and you have a good listing and it's on Google, and maybe they've never seen, maybe they're just looking for it on Google Shopping, and your listing popped up, well, that's the item they're looking for. They'll sign up on eBay so they can buy it. So I've had good success. It's the people that have maybe had an account with zero feedback for a long time that I'm kind of like, wait, what's going on here? And they're just now buying your item. But take a look. If they've signed up recently, chances are it's because they found your item through Google. One busy mama to you. I don't like to decline any offer, so I countered higher and they never responded. That triggered the sale on the same item that sold for a buyer with higher feedback. Yeah, I had one guy just kept lowballing. And, after like the third back and forth, I know they get 4 opportunities. I just saved him the hassle and declined it. Manchaloon, congrats on 15K. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Nope, that's a sidebar. Yeah, that's what it is. Lindy Glenn, that's it. Has gone quiet as she's doing Amazon bins in her own store. Yeah, she's probably very busy, very inundated. And I know she had to have been making pretty good money on YouTube. And she's not really making that other than the evergreen content, the stuff that's been, people go back to and watch. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe bin stores is where it's at. That's where all the liquidation's going. It's been swallowed up by a lot of those bin stores. Noah Design has a tip. When you make a sale on eBay, list the amount you sold to replenish plus add 50 to 100 in value back. Sold 5 items next day, list 5 times more listing that equals 50 to 100. Right. I agree. That's a good idea. Tommy says YouTube supposedly is fixing the algorithm to not mess with viewers that watch only live, shorts, or pre-recorded. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I think it was something that some people were complaining about back in the summer. And I didn't really notice any drop-offs in viewership. Some people were saying that their views just fell big time on their other regular videos. It didn't really affect me like that. So maybe that's why Cincinnati gave me that advice. But for me, I'm going to keep doing what we're doing and see. But maybe if I do something, it'll be at the beginning of the year. If it flips, it ships 101. If the sales don't pick up, I'll be sleeping in my truck in 2 weeks. Well, we don't want that. So, I'll be glad if you want to send me an email. I'll be glad to look at your store. If there's anything I can see there, certainly send me an email, flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. Danny says, sorry, I'm behind. You're wrong about unemployment. If you're looking for a job, you're a part of unemployment. There's no time cutoff. Well, I don't know. You got to look into that because one of the things that I think that was talked about a few years back was this whole debate about what unemployment really was, what the actual amount was. And from what I understand, there's something that was changed back in the 70s, the way they calculate unemployment, that after so many, like if you're on unemployment and you run out of benefits and you don't get a job by then, you're not even in the equation anymore, that you're just gone. Might want to look into that because I think I've looked that up. But to be honest with you, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is it doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what anyone else says. If the majority of us are finding that, wow, Q4 ain't what it was, and maybe in years past we've been killing it, now we're just, it's an average month, November. What's really going on? And it's the economy. And if you think about it, a lot of stuff being sold on eBay is stuff people don't actually have to have, and maybe only are in the position to buy it once their bills are paid. Now that their bills aren't getting paid, that is preventing them from being able to buy your item on eBay. That's the concern that I have. So it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. I'm hope that you're right. Hope that it's not as bad as it seems. I want that more than anybody else for it to be fixed because this is my livelihood. But I just don't see any indication that that's the case. Michelle says, thank you for helping us all. I appreciate it. And you guys help me too. You guys give me a lot of good information when you guys come and hang out with me. Tommy says, eBay's fixed out of stock option so you can see his solds now. Hopefully people are smart enough to look. 31,000 listings and 800-ish solds. Yeah, I mean, I have 550 items that I have up for sale. It's been stagnant around there for the last few months. I'm selling 600 items in a 3-month period. And so, it's one of those things where it's not about building a big store. It's about just maximizing, getting the items, churning those items around. Craig says that Don does hide his sales. I don't know. I thought he used to. And it works I don't, please someone tell me how to pronounce that. I just hide my sales because I'm in the collectible market, so it's harder for competition to see the prices for rare items. And I think Don is as well. He's in collectibles. I think Auction Professor sells over not just eBay. He has multiple selling sites. He's been in the business for years. Yeah, I think he does make some. I think he makes decent money. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm ignorant to what he's doing. Maybe I need to look into it more, but I try not to comment a lot on it because I just don't know what other resellers or YouTubers that resell are making. Let's see. Picky Ricky says, well, I was going to try unboxing videos of my new wholesale toys, and I was going to link it to my eBay. I can't even speak. Link to my eBay in order to up my sales. You think that's unethical? No, people do it all the time. We got Shed Flips. He advertises a lot of his to his viewers, and they buy stuff from him. And that's the thing. You're not twisting anyone's arm. You're not making them buy from you. I was very hesitant when I first started doing Flipping Ain't Easy because I didn't want to, put out my store. At first, it was because, I didn't want to have any traffic that was just looky-loos and messing up my traffic reports. But I didn't want it to be about, here I have this channel and come and buy my stuff. That's not what it's about. I mean, really, if you guys want to look at my items to see, what I'm doing to get some ideas, that's kind of what it's about. So, if you want to use your platform to, move stuff, people do it all the time. Instagram, then by all means do it. I'm not going to knock you for it, but that's not something I've ever wanted to do on my channel. That auction guy, I watched a YouTube video when he went to a jewelry pawn shop. He seemed to know it all. Don't know who you're talking about, but auction professor, he knows a lot. He has a lot of information. When you sell at a niche, you're going to get a lot of information over time. Now, if you ask him about, these tennis shoes, he's probably not going to know more than the average person. So, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of things that I'm an everything seller, and I'm constantly learning new stuff. So I guess that's a benefit from selling everything. Yeah, it says I'm the same. I listen to resellers, but give up when I feel it's just not right. I would never pay. No one's an expert as eBay is so unstable, and no one has a handbook. They can only use their own experiences, what they've, conversations, maybe what they've seen through trial and error, but no one has the handbook. Sarah says, I don't hate on people for being on the grind. However, it becomes all trying to sell a course. I'm out. Yeah, it's disingenuous. The moment they start saying they're talking about a subject and here's why you should look at my program. Oh, gee, really? It's just, you guys will know. I'll tell you guys about Prime Lister, because I do know that it works. It works for me. In addition to the 600 sales in 90 days, I'm probably adding another 100 to the equation with all the other sites. And we're talking Amazon, Poshmark and Mercari for the most part. And if it could work for me and there's people out there struggling with eBay, branch out, get your stuff out in front of other people. And here's a course, not a course, but here's a tool that you can use to do it. And whether you use the tool that I use or the one that Ed uses or any of the other ones, just do it, because you're just limiting your items to one basket. One busy mama to you. You create a great sounding board with tips and views that open up a conversation. We appreciate you, John and Jenna. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys for being here. Certainly do. We got no bullshit says now that would suck to have feet that smell that bad. All right, I have to DEA. I know what DEA is, but I get it. Yeah, if these shoes smell that bad, oh man, it'd be horrible. Just go get the Febreze and just keep spraying them, I guess. Okay, that not popcorn smell. That is 4-day-old baby diaper with some blue cheese sprinkled on top. Oh, jeez, I can't even go any further with that comment. So it's bad. It's just bad. Blithering Rando says, I had a guy buy an expensive video game from Puerto Rico. He had a 1-year account with no feedback and his name didn't even sound real, but no issues, thankfully. Yeah, just utilize your seller protection for what it's worth, which isn't really worth a whole lot. But you know what? Unless something really, you're selling like that actually the $1,000 item I sold was $1,800 the 3 different sales. Number one, the guy didn't communicate with me. I probably would have felt, little sketchy about it, but I still would have sold him the items. For me, if I was dealing with a zero feedback person, I probably would feel the same way that you felt. I'm not going to cancel the sale. I'm going to still follow through with it. And just sometimes you just got to look at it like, you have to do everything that you're supposed to do as a seller. And eBay will sometimes have your back, and you just got to do your due diligence. Write it off if something bad happens. I hate to say that. But, I think it's working out. The guy received the item yesterday, hasn't reached out, said there was an issue with any of it. So hopefully that sale is, going to be okay. This overstuffed house is, I have been monetizing YouTube for over a year. You're not going to get rich off what YouTube pays you, but it helps to send people to your online sales. Yeah. But I'm not doing it for, if you want to buy something, by all means, there's a lot of people who do. And thank you for that. But to me, it's not about that. Now, I did do that a week ago. You guys want to check out all these items I'm putting up on auction. By all means, check it out. But I won't really usually do that. I mean, I'd love to get more sales in my store, but I'm not going to use this platform to be a 2-hour commercial about what I'm selling. Monster Loon says, I don't believe I've ever gotten offers from a zero feedback account, but have had several direct sales. I've never had problems from a zero account. And the Hunter says, if I order an item to sell, I draft it before I get it, so I list it as soon as I have it. Okay, that's a good thing too. If you're looking at a manifest, you're looking at liquidation, and you're getting this stuff, go in and make drafts. So when you finally get it, it's done. Let's see, go down here, try to catch up some. Monster Loon, my understanding is the unemployment rate is based on the number of people actually receiving unemployment. Times are tough when I have a customer contact me for a partial refund because I sent them the item using a $1.94 stamp and they paid $3 for shipping. Wow. And you know what? Those materials you use to pad that item aren't free either. So guys, let everyone have their likes and dislikes. Who cares if one person dislikes a YouTuber? As long as you like this channel, that's all that matters. You're here, and that's all that matters. And I'm never going to tell you, you shouldn't watch this channel, you shouldn't watch that channel. I'll tell you how I feel about my own viewing habits. But, if you can trust the channel after a few videos, watching and seeing, hey, is this person really looking out for you? Or are they looking out for their own best interest? Use your own smell test. You don't need me to tell you whether you should trust someone or not. Let's see. Pete, I consider a good friend, most genuine there is. Yeah, I think Pete from Craigslist Hunter. So yes, I like him a lot. I like his I love his bird, Ruby. I love that bird. He's probably one of the best interviews ever. Would love to have that guy on the channel, though. I've watched him for many years. Damian D says, I like this channel because everyone is honest. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And those who aren't honest, we have moderators now. We can get rid of them. You just watch a bunch on sellers and see what they buy. The more you know, the better you'll be off. Yes. Sometimes people have bolos. You know, you can kind of get an idea. Oh, I didn't know to look out for that. You know, it's good stuff to look for it, I guess. Picky Ricky says, Shed Flips is a good channel, but Lonnie peed me off. So I don't know what Lonnie did, but he seems like a good guy. I don't know him very well, but he seems like he's a halfway decent dude. Sarah says, we're all here on a Friday night for a reason. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys spending your Friday night hanging out with me. Blithering Rando, I managed to go get free packing materials from a local manufacturing plant that throws away bags of bubble wrap and foam. Might be an option to look at. That's a good idea. I even remember the episode that Craigslist Hunter, since we're talking about Craigslist Hunter, he did an episode where he was dumpster diving. I think that was him. This is years ago. Dumpster diving for boxes. I don't know if I want to go that far, but, you know, in a pinch, I guess, right? Ed says, I do watch some shoe resellers from time to time, and I learn new brands from time to time. May not be all videos, but that once in a while video helps me learn. Yeah, it's all about learning. Noah Design says, I'm only dishonest when it comes to cookies. I will lie and cheat to get one, and my wife hates it. Well, if you ever had some of the cookies I make, the chocolate chip butterscotch white chocolate chip cookies that I don't just use regular butter. I brown my butter. Oh, it's off the chain. And that's all I'll say about that. I need to make some now for the live and eat them for you, just so you can see them. Let's see. Michael Norton says, I wasn't sailing anything this week, so I stopped my markdown sale and started a new one, and bang, 15 sales overnight. And I think that's a good thing to bring up. If you go in and let's say your sales are stale, cancel your markdown sale, make another one. That's actually worked for me. Now, that's not to say that that's the way, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to do things. You know, sometimes when you're at the roulette table and you see number 17 pop up over and over again, you're going to put your money on number 17. There's no rhyme or reason for it, but you're going to do it because you've seen it work, and maybe it won't work, but that's what's lucky for you. Prosper says, did I miss that you're not on next Friday? No, I'm not on next Friday. Joining a few friends out at the river. Parker, we're going to do some planning for we have a golf tournament that we do every year in the spring, and the directors get together, play a round of golf, have dinner, and we there for a couple days. And so Friday and Saturday I will be not here, so I'm not even gonna be able to do my beloved yard sale next weekend. So we will do the live on Monday, and I'll probably have a video that'll launch on Friday, but I try not to miss these Friday ones, but every so often it happens. Eddie says, if you have a pet macaw and you can sell its feathers that fall off for $25. I didn't know that, but you're probably right about that. Picky Ricky, I love 17 on roulette. 17, 20, 32. They're all bunched together on the same part of the wheel. So I like betting. If I do bet the roulette wheel, it's like in a wedge but this is not a gambling channel. So Bernie Higgins says, I've recently become a top-rated seller, sold a few items with free shipping, 1-day handling time, 30-day return. Aren't I supposed to get a 10% discount on fees or something? So only if you're top-rated plus and you have free returns do they give you that. So I only have about half of my items of free returns, and if it's under 2 pounds, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Drain the Swamp says, have you noticed when you end listings and sell similar, some of your listings change the shipping price up or down? Every action we take on eBay is a counter reaction. I think they're a communist. Well, I do know this, that you're not careful about when you're setting your listing up on the phone, that sometimes it can have a mind of its own and put a totally different listing policy than you set for it. So you got to be very careful when you list those items on the phone. Toy Diddy, hey John, your idea of switching to same day shipping works. I think so. Like I said, my sales are up 89% from the previous month. So I think so. It's definitely doesn't really add anything to me. I set up 9 a.m. the next day as the cutoff anyway. So, I mean, it's going to be in my to do box anyway when I'm shipping. So for me, it works just fine. Michael says, how many unlisted shoes do you have? Probably 500 pairs. So Jenna's coming in here to kind of say goodbye to everyone. It's now 4 hours. I'm sorry, an hour and 49 minutes into the program, and we are now going to wind down. But you know what, guys? I just want to thank you guys for taking the time, especially those who left super chats today. You didn't have to do that.
You guys are so awesome. You're the best.
Yeah.
Best family we could ever have asked for.
So, you know, and hopefully this community grows, but if it doesn't, we have a great group of people that are consistently hanging out with us on Mondays and Fridays, and I can't ask for anything more than that.
Well, I only get Monday spots, so.
No, you'll get stop it. So again, guys, always looking for advice about the channel. If you guys have any input, please send me an email, flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. If you're having slow sales, I'll be glad to look at your store as well. But you know, Q4 is here. So if you don't have your stuff up, get it up, guys. Hopefully it's not the end to a lot of smaller sellers. I think some like Tommy might say, hey, the less sellers out there, the less competition. And I get the mindset, but this channel is here to help everyone. So hopefully, you know, get your stuff going. And oh man, thanks, Tommy. You didn't have to do that.
Tommy.
Now, Tommy, can it be a knockoff bag?
No.
I think at $19.99.
Boughton. A Louis Boughton.
Boutine. Louis Boutine.
Boutine. Like
my Christian Lou Boutins. Jeez. And that's my ignorance. But nonetheless, thanks, Tommy. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everything you do. And thanks for everyone for being here to just hang out with us and being consistent. So go have a great weekend. Hopefully you can grab some yard sale action like I am. And until then, I want you guys to have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys on Monday.